The next deputant, Liz White, leader of Animal Protection Party of Canada. Good morning, good to have you
Good
here.
morning. We've moved from the Zs to the Ws, so we're moving in the right direction.
Please, go ahead.
Thank you very much for having me here today. I'm only going to talk about one little part of the report, although I want to mention before I get to the end that we have at the bottom of my presentation, which you should have in your package, that we want the committee to reaffirm a prohibition on mobile live animal programs. So, but I'm really here to talk about chickens because the report deals with the aspect of chickens, and just to say that we are in support of keeping chickens on the prohibited list and not allowing backyard chickens. This is my third time here talking about this issue. I just want to point out from the point of view of that particular issue, if you look at some of the material that I included, in the United States where backyard chickens have taken off in many municipalities across the country, there's a continued rise in the outbreak of human salmonella. And in 2017, there were outbreaks across the country of 8 different types of salmonella poisoning. And of the people that got sick, about 36% of those were children under the age of 5. These are because people have direct contact with these animals in their backyard. So we're recommending that the city maintain a prohibition on the keeping of chickens. If chickens were allowed, and I've looked at Vancouver, I've looked at what the BCSPCA has said, Vancouver allows chickens, that they do not, the Vancouver Animal Services and the BCSPCA shelter simply do not have the facilities to care for these animals, A, when they're abandoned, and B, when they're seized because of lack of care. And so and that would be true at Toronto Animal Services. The South Shelter has been closed permanently, so the number of cages that are available for these animals are few and far between. And in fact, you can't put chickens in with dogs and cats because they're predated upon and would cause stress to the birds. And of course, it would cause additional cost to Toronto Animal Services to do that. Then there are some very real issues about humane care of these animals. Many people do not know how to care for the animals. I don't think most people know, but you can order the animals and have them mailed to you by Canada Post. So these are tiny little chicks that come in a box that are mailed to you. So there are clearly humane issues with regard to that, and I think that should be considered. Veterinary care is another area of consideration. There are not veterinarians in the city who care for chickens. And so people who have chickens where the animals get sick, there are not veterinarians to care for them. And in fact, many people don't know when their chickens get sick. And then the third thing is the slaughter issue. Many people slaughter their chickens in the backyard. They did a survey of people who had backyard chickens in a couple of cities in the United States, and they found out that at least 10% of the people who had the chickens slaughtered them in their backyard, and so it caused problems. Of course, there are human-wildlife conflicts because animals are attracted to the chickens, skunks, coyotes, raccoons, and so on. And then there's issues with regulation and enforcement, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentations. Questions, visiting members? If not, is Councilor Janis.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the Deputy. Number one, thank you for coming to make your presentation. You said about people killing chickens in their backyard, and I guess after that, they grow them, they have fresh eggs, and then they kill them in their backyard.
Yep.
And is there a difficulty there? How difficult is it? Does it present any health hazards? What does it do?
Yeah, I think, first of all, there's issue of health hazards for sure. The caring for, the disposal of the, obviously the parts of the bird that you don't want, the blood, et cetera, all of those present a health hazard. And I think it's a part of a bylaw that the City of Toronto simply doesn't allow. We don't allow animals to be slaughtered in the City of Toronto. They need to be done in a properly run facility.
Through the Chair, will that harm or somehow adverse stunt the growth of a young child?
No, I think the issue is the humaneness. I think a lot of people simply do
Chair,
not know how.
I can't
We
hear.
can just,
Thank you. Sorry about that, folks.
please.
Thank you, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
right, Okay.
Sorry.
It's about, I think it's at least a lot about humaneness. A lot of people do not know how to kill chickens properly. And so there's issues of whether these animals suffer dramatically. I don't know whether, you should go on YouTube and you can see how people kill chickens in backyards. There's lots of videos and it's not a pretty
But
picture.
will that harm the child or stunt the growth or how, like,
I think there's
traumatize
an
the kid?
indication from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the United States that chickens carry salmonella of many different varieties, and of the people that got sick with salmonella, 36% were children under 5 years of age. So yes, I think it has a very big impact. Yes.
So somebody that it has chickens in the backyard or a chicken coop of about 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 chickens, and the child goes into the chicken coop, grabs the chicken, takes the eggs, they will somehow be harmed.
Yes, what they find is that direct contact, what the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found
Okay.
from interviewing all these people is that where they had direct contact with the birds, these were the people who got the salmonella.
How,
So,
I mean,
and those
how
were
would that
children under
affect them?
5.
How would that affect them? How would it affect a child?
Well, salmonella is a very serious disease.
Would it stunt the kid's growth?
Sometimes it kills people. It absolutely.
Do I look dead to you?
No, I'm not saying that everybody
Okay.
dies from it.
So
I'm saying that
do
the
I
people.
look, sorry, I'm telling you where I'm going to this, and I'm not trying to be adversarial.
Yeah.
Do I look somehow adverse, that I have some difficulties? Because I grew up,
Don't ask a question you don't want to know the answer.
I grew up in a situation that was 13 kilometers outside the city, part of the city. We had a chicken coop of 25 chickens, fresh eggs every morning. Mom occasionally would take the axe and guess what? 6'2".
Yes, I understand that
6 years
happened.
later,
All
like,
I'm saying
it was
is,
not a farm, it was part of the city.
Councilor
All I'm
Chanis,
saying
please
is
let Ms. White
mean, my
respond.
question is-
You asked the question, please let her
I
respond.
did, and I'm,
Councilor Chanis, please. Ms. White, please go ahead.
I'm just saying
Mayor,
that,
I didn't finish my question. So give me
did
the
ask the
courtesy of at least
question.
finishing the
You
question.
can ask
I'm
another
being very
question.
nice.
Please go ahead.
all I'm saying is that when you look at the statistics collected by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, that what they're finding with the growth of backyard chickens in the United States is that there is an increase in salmonella outbreaks, and that has been true over the last 5 years. And of the people who got sick, you asked me about kids, 5% were children under 5, because they go in, they pick the birds up, they stick their hands in their mouth without understanding how the salmonella gets passed on. And so I'm saying, why would we bother doing this when we don't have to? We've already got a prohibition
thank
on it.
you.
Why would you enter into a
I
allowing it?
thank you for the deputation, but on the flip side, when you look at the world today, something like I would say to you, I will guesstimate about 60% of the children that live in other countries have a chicken coop in their backyard and they go in and, you know what, I still don't have any figures from there if they get sick or not. But I thank you for coming.
Thank you. Yes, I think if you look at other countries, you'll find that salmonella is a big issue with handling farm animals, absolutely.
You know, I don't want to get in an argument with the man, but a lot of kids in those countries, a lot of kids having a fresh egg in the morning is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any other questions? If not, Ms. White, thanks so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.